Okay, let's talk finished flooring and other interior things. Um, as you can see at this point, I've got my flooring in. um, the only thing I've got installed in here is my bathtubs. Because if you remember last semester, we had to go back and move all our cabinets and toilets and things up so they sit on top of the finished floor. Well, in our case, in this case, we're putting in the bathtubs first. If you haven't done that already, you can go right ahead and do that. I think it's the same one we used last semester. I don't know. I'll pop it up there for you if we need to. Okay, and I'm doing wood flooring out here in the whole main area of the house, and it's 3/4 inch oak flooring. I talked about that in another video. One thing I noticed a few people did last semester is, oh, let's see, is that a door? No. Okay, so they took their flooring boundary out into the exterior doorway area. Don't do that. Keep keep your floor boundary to the face of the sheetrock, the interior surface of the gypboard, and at exterior doors, do not go out into the doorway because exterior doors get a threshold that is actually higher than the finished floor. Okay. Um, so yeah, and where I have joining rooms with different floor types, I just split the center of the wall for that. Okay. And so hardwood 3/4, carpet in the bedroom areas and closets, and I made that 1/2 inch thick. Okay. Don't worry about color of the carpet. Okay. Those of you who got all uptight about not liking the color of the carpet in the last semester, don't worry about it. Just pick one that's there. Okay. It'll be okay. Don't worry about it. Now then, for the tile, okay, and carpet, make carpet a 1/2 inch thick. That's a little bit more realistic than the 1/8 of an inch that they show in the Revit. Now then, for my tile, we're going to do this a little bit more realistic. We're going to make it 3/4 inch thick, and I created me a new floor type, and I did it as concrete cast in place gray material, a 1/2 inch thick, and that's the backer board or the base that they're going to put down before they lay the ceramic tile out. And then the tile, I did it 4 inches. I don't care if you use the tile mosaic gray or if you want to do porcelain. I really don't care about what surface pattern or color or whatever you use. If you find another one down here you want to use, that's fine. Don't get weird and fancy on creating something new for what we're dealing with, okay? But those are the thicknesses for those, okay? And so floors, you should be able to handle floors with not a problem, okay? Now ceilings, just like last semester, I got to go here to select a ceiling. I need you to create a new ceiling, and it's a compound ceiling because if you remember, basic ceiling has no thickness, so it doesn't show up in your model and in your drawing. So we're going to create a new compound ceiling, and I'm calling it GWB gypsum wallboard. And it will only be gypsum ceiling board 1/2 inch thick. And if you remember here, we created a new material type. You can take your gypsum wallboard, right click it and go duplicate, and then rename the duplicate as gypsum ceiling board. And then add a gypsum plaster surface pattern to it. Okay. Do not just rename gypsum wallboard like some people did, because then you end up with this really weird pattern on all of your walls, and that is not cool, not funny. So create a new material type, gypsum ceiling board, set it up. Okay. Now they're 1/2 inch thick, which means the top of the ceiling gypsum wallboard. The top of it is at my top of wall level that I created, okay, which is also the ceiling level, but it's the top of the ceiling is at that level. Okay, so now you're going to do that for all of the rooms until we get out here into the kitchen great room area, in which these are sloped. So you will need a flat ceiling here, and you can you can draw these boundary lines in. You need flat ceiling here in this area. Now when you go to create this, you're going to draw your lines, pick your lines. This line here is 8 foot 8 1/4 from the inside of the stud wall, inside of the core to the edge of this. And you say, well, how do you know that, Mr. East? If you will look on the sheet that has the trusses, sheet 4, truss profile B. And if you look at that in the dimensions for it, it's from the inside. It gives you that 3.5 inch dimension. That's the thickness of the 2x4 stud wall. No sheathing included. Come over 8 foot 8 1/4. That's the peak. And then another 8 foot 8 1/4 for the other side of it. And so what you do is you draw your rectangle or whatever shape it is. And then we add a slope arrow. Okay, so let me delete that. And so what you do is you go slope arrow and you pick the tail first and you drag it out here to the head. Excuse me. Okay. And you notice the 8 foot 8 1/4 dimensions from the face of the stud, but the edge of the ceiling is not at the face of the stud, it's at the face of the drywall for the wall itself. Clarify that. Okay. Now then, my truss profile tells me it's a 412 slope for the ceiling. And so I come over here when I've got my slope arrow selected and I choose my specification, I change it to slope. Level at tail is default because I'm not changing anything from the ceiling. Height offset at tail is going to be 0. And my slope would be 4 and 12. Okay. And then I would apply and then click OK. Yes to go ahead and create that. But I'm gonna cancel mine. Okay. Yes, because I've already built it once. Now then, let me find a section through there. Here we go. Come on. Let's move it back to here. And so here's what we end up with. Okay. The top of the gypboard ceiling where it hits the wall here is at the correct level. Okay. It's got a 412 slope, comes down, and it joins back in with this other piece of flat ceiling that you've got on the other side right here. Okay, and you notice the boundary for it's a little bit different. Okay, and then what we end up doing later is these walls here, we have to carry them up. We have to carry them up into the roof space, basically is what's happening. So we edit the profile of them, and I'll show you that in another video. Because let's see, I'm almost at 10 minutes here. I think that's pretty much it for interior floors and ceilings. Let me flip that and look at it. Oh, I got to change my depth on it. Okay. Okay, and so here's my fireplace wall. You can see I edited the profile, and you'll have to come back to these kind of weird section views or create you an elevation view, either one, so that you can actually see that wall. so that you can edit the profile of it. Um, I got to figure out on that. I can't remember if I did that one or not. I got to go back and look at it and see because I've got a few other things going on here. Um, but that's pretty much it. This one has to come up. This one and this one has to come up, and then we need a fake wall across that opening that would be above ceiling height. Of course, that's not showing up here because we're not above ceiling, but I will refer you to that after a while. Okay, questions? Shoot me an email, come see me.